Welcome, I'm the Math Farmer. In this video, we are going to discuss surds. Yes, surds. What is surds? Surds are square roots of non-perfect square numbers. Yes, surds are square root of non-perfect square numbers. The question will now be, what are perfect square numbers? Yes, what are perfect square numbers? Because we said that surds are non-perfect square numbers, square root of non-perfect square numbers. We will talk about perfect square numbers, for instance. Perfect square numbers. Perfect square numbers. There are numbers in which their square roots will give us a whole number. Yes, there are numbers in which their square roots will give us a whole number. For instance, we have an example of perfect square, maybe, for instance, 4. Yes, so square root of 4 will give us 2. Again, we have 9. You know that square root of 9 will give us 3. That is 3 times 3. Which number do multiply itself 2 times to give us that number in question? That is a square, perfect square root of perfect square numbers. Now, but we say that surds are square root of non-perfect square numbers. So if number is not a perfect square, that means it's what? Non-perfect square. I repeat again. If number is not a perfect square, that means what? Non-perfect square. What it means by being non-perfect square is that when you square a number, I do not give you a whole number. That means that number is non-perfect square. I repeat again. When you square root a number, yes. When you square root a number, and that number do not give you a whole number, we call that number non-perfect square numbers. For instance, we have root 2, square root of 2, yeah. Yes. When you square root 2, it will not give you a whole number. When you square root 5, it will not give you a whole number. If you square root 8, it will not give you a whole number. So all these are examples of surds, square root of non-perfect square numbers. Now, we have some rules that governs the operation in surds. We have some rules that enable us to carry out or simplify problems in surds. We have the first one, multiplication rule. The multiplication rule here, it says square root of a, you know, a and b here are integers, numbers. Square root of a multiplied by b. When we have this, we say it's the same thing. A, collect your own square root. B, collect your own square root. Yes. Mr. A, collect your own. Mr. B, collect your own square root. So that everybody will have this of our own. Yes. Now, we have example here. Square root of 8. If you watch it, 8 here is non-perfect square number. So it's not a perfect square number. If you square root 8, it will not give you a whole number. Rather, it will give you a decimal number. Now, if you now have root 8, we want to simplify it. So this is the same thing as, you now ask yourself, what are the prime factors? Prime factors. What I mean by prime factors? Those numbers that can divide 8 without even a remainder. And there must be a prime number. So this is something as 2 times 2 times 2. This 2 times 2 is 4 times 8. So here, this is something as 2 raised to the power of 2 multiplied by 2 raised to the power of, multiplied by 2. Now, we are going to obey multiplication law here. Separate it. What we are going to have is root 2 raised to the power of 2, collect your own square root, then root 2, collect your own. Now, you know in mathematics, square cancel out square root. So, this is what we now have is now 2 root 2. So, this is the simplest form of root 8. Now, we have the second rule here, which is division rule. Yes, division rule. If we have square root of a divided by b, which of course you know that a and b are integers, are numbers, we can write it in this form, or the same thing, either this division sign or this division sign, or the same. So when we have this, is equals to separate, shade for them, collect your Mr. A, collect your own square root. Mr. B, collect your own square root. That's what we did here. So that is what the rule here is saying. So now, if you have example here on the board, square root of 9 divided by 8. Square root of 9 divided by 8. So, applying this division law here, 9, Mr. 9, collect your own. Mr. 8, collect your own. Yes. I've separated the square root. Everybody has collected this or her own. Now, moving forward, this is the same thing as 3 multiplied by 3 divided by, this is the same thing as 4 multiplied by 2. So, which will give us 3 raised to the power of 2. 2 raised to the power of 2 multiplied by 2. So moving forward now, what we are going to have here, square here will cancel our square root, giving us to 3 1 over, I separate 2 raised to the power of 2 multiplied by square root of 2. Root 2, square root will cancel, square here will cancel square root. So leaving us with 3 divided by 2 root 2. So that is the simplest form of 3 1 over 2 root 2 is the simplest form of square root of 9 divided by 8. Thank you for watching. Do well to follow my social media pages on Facebook, Mad Farmer, TikTok, Mad Farmer, Instagram, Mad Farmer. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Mad Farmer, for more videos. Don't forget that this video is proudly powered by USA Tutorial Center. Thank you for watching. Bye bye. See you next time.